Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Ranger Bros Studios. I am your host of the channel, Tai Tiger, and I welcome you to a brand new video. Just a quick thing before we dive in, a quick apologies for the fact of the whole higgledy-pigglediness of the upload schedule. We missed a week. This video is actually late uploading. It's just a lot of kerfuffle in the background work, but we are getting back into focusing on uploading every single Tuesday, so I really hope you guys look forward to that. And also now on Fridays you may get an extra video, or depends. The extra videos aren't exactly 100% scheduled for every single Friday, but there's definitely going to be something every now and then for you guys to check out. This Friday's video is actually going to be in relation to this video right now, so there's going to be extra content sometimes, and then sometimes it's just some more videos for you to watch. Last video we did, I actually had a conversation with one of our council members for the first time, and they were introduced in the video, which was Jared from If You Give It Out a Podcast. He's one of our council members, and we discussed something to do with Power Rangers Wild Force. That was a banging video, so make sure you check out that one. Now when it comes to this video, me and Cosplay Dude 67 have both devised our own separate lists of our top 5 favourite cartoons. Now the best thing about this list is Cosplay Dude 67 is 15 years older than me. I am 15 years younger, which means our favourite cartoons are devised from two completely different eras of cartoon television, which is absolutely fantastic, making our top 10 very mixed and matched, not only with genre, but with, well, time frame, which is brilliant. Now, that being said, we applaud you to leave your comments down below of your top 5 or top 10 favourite cartoons, and let's dive in with the video. But if you want to start us off with your first pick, which we have agreed that the first ones we're doing are our top favourite cartoon ever.
Yes. And I went with Voltron, Defender of the Universe. It's basically 5 space explorers are sent to a distant planet to revive the ancient robot Voltron, who has been broken up into 5 lions, and they must combine the lions together to stop this evil empire from destroying the galaxy. My favorite pilot has always been Keith, leader of the Black Lion. Voltron, I think, is my main reason on why I like Power Rangers so much, is because it's very Power Ranger-esque, but it came out before Power Rangers, so I feel like that's why I'm drawn to Power Rangers, is because of Voltron.
Yeah, no, Voltron's very cool. You also cosplay as Keith as well. So we have to throw that out there. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to Voltron, there's a lot of, I don't know if Voltron had anything to do with the Japanese Spider-Man, because obviously Japanese Spider-Man is what inspired Super Sentai to do the whole mech thing, and obviously that's why we have in Power Rangers. But there's other things out there that either, use Voltron or inspired by Voltron or mock Voltron in some way. Rick and Morty did a whole thing. I can't remember what animals it was. It wasn't lions. I think they made it like an otter or a weasel or something, but it was basically Voltron. Without using the word Voltron, it was Voltron. So like so many things have referenced or like done something mimicking Voltron. It's definitely left its stamp. It's also been remade,
several times.
Several times.
We're actually getting a live-action adaptation of it with, I believe, Henry Cavill is playing the main role, which I don't know if that means he's playing Keith or if he's playing like Sven or something like that. one of the other characters. I hope he's not playing Keith. I hope he'll be very sad.
Yes, I'd be very sad too. But yeah, Voltron's awesome. I think Voltron is a pretty good first choice. I'm not gonna lie. So my one is Ben 10 Omniverse, which is a continuation. It's the fourth and the last in the main series. So Ben 10 is a kid who originally, at the age of 10, on a camping trip with his cousin and his grandfather, a summer vacation camping trip, ends up finding an alien device, which looks like a watch, and it can turn him into different alien species. It's coded with millions of different alien species, but he can only access 10 originally. And then from there, they kind of expanded the lore and continued it. There's actually take away the reboot, there's 4 main series, and I like the last one the best, which is Omniverse, where he's 17 going on 18. He's got the Omnitrix we see throughout the first 3 seasons is classed as the prototype, air quote. So this is like the first like official proper Omnitrix. He has like 70 to 80 transformations. We see quite a few of them as well. It's one of the reasons why I like Omniverse so much, because of the diversity. I mean, a lot of people don't like it because the alien redesigns, the art style's different and things, but I just love the expansion of the lore. And also the art style is actually in canon. Why everyone looks different, there's actually a canon reason, and that's because of one of the Alien X's. They did it, which I think is great. The fact that in canon there's a reason why, we have there's a reason why everything looks different. But I just like the expansion of the lore, continuation of the villains. It's not for everybody, I get that, but I just like my continuations, I guess.
Yeah, you do like your continuations. I will agree with you there. I didn't watch much of Omniverse. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Wasn't a fan of the Lego monster he gets, or alien he gets. That was one of the ones that kind of just drew me off of it. But
man, my boy Blocks is getting bullied left, right, and center. Man, I love Blocks. I think Blocks is awesome.
He was just not one of my favorite aliens out of all of his. I think my 2 favorite seasons of Ben 10 would have had to been Alien Force and Ultimate Alien. Even though Ultimate Aliens aren't technically alien forms or something like that. I don't remember the whole lore behind it.
Yeah, I also love Rook. I love Rook so much. He's such a cool character. He's Ben's new partner, and at first he kind of takes everything literal. He doesn't understand human sarcasm because he's an alien feline-looking creature, and one of my favorite. It does get quite repetitive after a little while, but then it kind of stops, which I'm glad. But it is funny in some occasions. My favorite one is Rook's very polite, so he'll call people like Magister Tennyson, Mistress something, Madam something, and so Ben goes, "Just call me Ben, dude." So Rook then calls him Ben Dude because he thinks that's what Ben's telling him to call him. So he just calls him Ben Dude for episodes. It lasts a good handful of episodes, and then he stops doing it after a while, but I just thought it was really funny. Whoa. Before we dive in to more of our list, a quick little challenge for you guys. As you can see, we have a nice little group of cartoon characters on our screen, and there's one particular character I want you to name. There's a girl there with pink hair and with pink clothes on. She's from a cartoon from the 80s, and if you guys can name her and the cartoon, we will shout you out in the next Big Tuesday video on the Three Ranger Bro Studios. Not only that, but all 3 of us will shout you out on TikTok, the YouTube Shorts, and you'll be followed by the Three Ranger Bro Studios. So if you guys want to be shouted out in a video and have you guys mentioned on TikTok and all that stuff, whether you're a content creator or not, doesn't matter. Name the girl with the pink hair in the corner of the screen. We want her name and the cartoon that she's from. Do you accept our challenge? Back with the video.
I believe I said Thundercats was next. No. He-Man was next. Wow. Whoa. My brain is not functioning on all cylinders today, sir. My Brian has checked out.
Brian has left the building.
Yes, he has. No, my second favorite cartoon, is He-Man. Again, the '80s cartoon classic, because He-Man has had a lot of remakes. Not all of them are terrible. The live-action movie was atrocious. We will not go into that. That's a whole nother segment. Um, but I will say that the Netflix continuation of the original '80s cartoon is amazing. Also, He-Man is about Prince Adam. He's the Prince of Eternia, and he finds out that when he holds his sword up to the sky and yells out, "By the power of Grayskull," he becomes He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. And he teams up with other warriors from his kingdom. His identity is a secret, though. Nobody knows he's He-Man, but a handful of people. And it's just a really good all-around story, in my opinion. One thing I did love about '80s cartoons that we don't see as much anymore is there was a lesson in every episode. You know, being kind, not judging a book by its cover, that kind of stuff. And I really miss that in more modern cartoons.
Yeah, I agree. He-Man's one of those ones where like I know it, but I just haven't watched it all the way through. Again, you cosplay as this as well. You have to mention the fact you cosplay as these people. It's in your name, bro.
Yeah, well, I got you for that. That's what I got my hype squad for. That's what I got you for.
It's very true. But yeah, He-Man's cool. I'm intrigued for the live action movie that apparently we're getting.
Yeah, I've heard
I'm scared.
good things about it.
I'm scared.
I am too.
Yeah. But like He-Man's just one of those characters like everyone knows who He-Man is, especially if you grew up anywhere between the 80s and I'd say 90s, because I know everyone knows who He-Man is. I know He-Man's awesome. And of course his call out is iconic. So
everybody knows by the power of Grayskull.
Yeah. Do you ever think he gets cold?
He-Man?
Yeah. Do you think he ever gets cold?
No. Too much muscle.
He's just like he's able to walk through an Arctic blizzard with his nipples bare. Like he's cool. Like
his aura keeps him warm.
It's the dad joke. It's the dad joke. It's the dad joke of the day. His manly, muscular aura just keeps him at like summer temperatures,
I like it.
Okay, so my second spot goes to Digimon Adventures 2, or 02, however you want to pronounce it. Again, I like my sequels, but I just, as much as I do love Adventures, but number 2, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the characters, the new Digimon. We had 2 new Digimon mechanics, or Digievolution mechanics, sorry, we had Armored, and the DNA fusion thing, which I do like, but they only realistically did one really well, the other 2 are a bit... they're okay. Love Egg Armor Evolutions, love them so much. One of the coolest Digievolution mechanics ever. I do believe the card game ruined it, but still. But I also love I also love the fact that they're not limited to the digital world. They do leave and they do go back in. I love the fact their Digivices act like keys to access the digital world. I think that's really cool. Love the fact we have a human villain for a little while. And I don't know, I like expanding the lore. I like it when, like I said, when you said about Shira, I like it when they have the bollocks to go, hey, we're going to take this awesome thing and give you more of it, but not aimed at the main character. And the main characters from Adventures do make appearances, and they do expand on the adventure cast and everything. Tai gives Davis his goggles, which, hands him the main character quota down a generation, which is really cool. I find that, kind of like a passing the torch type thing. And we also see 2 characters from Adventures a bit more grown up, and they're part of the main team, which is TK and Kairi, obviously. And yeah, I don't know. As much as I love Adventures, I just find more pleasure in watching Adventures 2, I guess.
Yeah, Adventures 2 was good. I'm a huge fan of the original Digidestin, which we all know this. I cosplay as Tai. So I brought that up, Tai.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have this guy that's supposed to be cosplaying as Matt, but he hasn't got off his ass.
Yeah, we've sent him we've sent him away. He got really lazy. He's no longer a part of the network.
But yeah, I enjoyed too because it did continue the story. We did get new characters, and we got to see some old characters come back and be like mentors. I felt that was really cool. And one of my favorite scenes is the one you talked about where Tai took off his goggles because Davis has got broke, and he's like, every leader of the Digidestined has to wear goggles, and he gives them to Davis. And I just thought that was cool.
One of my favorite things is as well, is they get their armor evolutions first, which means their basic digi evolutions is actually something they have to acquire later on, and it's something so simple in Adventures. You know, each character gets their own episode, of course, and we see Ogumon Digivolve, and then we see Gogumon Digivolve, and then each Digimon has their turn to Digivolve for the first time, and it's really cool and fascinating. But for Adventures 2, it's more of an upgrade. You know, it's something that you kind of sat there waiting. You just sat there waiting. And then when they do, it's like, okay, that's really cool. The fact that you have to wait longer to get their just basic Digivolutions is just awesome.
Yes, I agree with you fully. So, on to our third then, my friend?
On to the third.
Okay, this time it's actually right. It's Thundercats. Totally messed that up. But yeah, Thundercats is about a group of aliens known as Thundarians. They're from the planet Thundar. They are cat-like beings, hence the name Thundercats. Their planet is destroyed, so they have to find a new planet. They find a planet called Third Earth, and accidentally wake up an ancient enemy named Mumra. And then the Thundercats have to battle Mumra for supremacy of the planet, and it's just a good, again, overall story. Every story had a lesson. You had Lion-O, the leader, who actually was technically younger than everybody else, but something happened wrong with his sleeping pod and he aged. You had Tigra, he was the more mature, responsible one. Chitara, the only adult girl. I will say that much. There was another girl, but she was the only adult girl. Panthro, which was your strength. Then you had Wily Kit and Wily Cat, the little twins. And Snarf, he was technically the nanny. In the remakes, they keep putting him as a pet, but he was technically Lion-O's nanny.
Yeah, he's the comic relief character, isn't he? Yes,
I love Snarf.
Mm-hmm.
Snarf!
Yeah, Thundercats holds a place in my heart. It's one of the only things my dad has ever sat me down and gone, "Hey kid, let me show you something." And I have fond memories of watching the first two episodes of Thundercats with my dad. He's actually got Lion-O and the sword tattooed on him, which is really cool. And yeah, I love cats. Obviously, I have a cat in my name. So I adore. Tiger's my favorite animal. I adored big cats, and I liked how we kind of had a representation for most cats, which is really cool. Each one's got a nice design. Very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle-esque, because each one's got their own unique skills, abilities, and weapons and things, which made each one kind of feel a bit more unique and everything. Mumra was just cool as well. Can I say his design is so overlooked? Mumra's just awesome.
Yeah.
He was definitely unique looking. But yeah, Thundercats is awesome. Never seen the reboot. Don't care to.
Yeah, sadly, you're not missing anything.
Sadly, things keep getting rebooted, and I don't know why. But yeah, honestly, if anybody wanted to check out an 80s cartoon, I think Thundercats would be the one cartoon I'd point, in everyone's direction.
Yeah, I concur. It's a good cartoon, and everybody should at least watch it once, at least an episode or two.
I think out of your entire list, I think Thundercats is the one I've watched the most of. I think maybe your fifth one Maybe your fifth one might be more, but only because I had siblings. But for me
Fair.
personally, if I sat down and watched something, I think Thundercats is the one I've watched the most.
Fair. So on to your third. Is it another sequel, sir?
Technically, yes, but not a sequel of a TV show. It's actually a sequel to a movie.
Okay.
And that being Lilo and Stitch. So they did a Lilo and Stitch TV show. It was a cartoon, obviously. So they did 3 movies altogether. And when they did the movie, which introduces an idea that Jumba, the guy who created Stitch, he made 625 experiments before Stitch because he's known as Experiment 626. And we get introduced to one of them in the movie, which Lilo has dubbed Sparky because he's Stitch, but yellow, more of an elongated face, as in horizontally elongated, and he can control electricity, and he can charge himself, he can travel through like electrical items and stuff. And the movie ends with Lilo about to get got by the big bad guy, so she chucks all of these dehydrated pods out of a spaceship and they rain down on Hawaii. And each pod is one of the experiments just dehydrated into these little like spheres. They got the number on them. And so that's where the TV show takes place. And basically, not every single episode we're introduced to a new experiment because, continuation storylines and stuff. But basically, each episode, again, had a moral of the story, Lilo learning something, Stitch learning something, be nice, treat others with respect, don't gossip, whatever the case may be. But we also are introduced to other experiments. They're all wacky and weird looking, different colors and shapes and sizes. They can do all different types of stuff. We've got one that can is 4-armed and really strong. He's called Kicks, and he gets given the job of a gym trainer and a fighting coach. And usually they all get jobs. Lilo kind of assigns each one of the experiments a job and gives them a name. We get an ice one, which ends up, I think, making ice cream. I think he works in the ice cream shop. I think. There's literally one that has really sharp fingers, like Edward Scissorhand fingers. So he ends up being a hairdresser, but at super fast rates as well. Like he
like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, legit. So it's just a lot of fun. Lilo's a kid, and one of the coolest things ever as well is they had so many crossovers with TV shows. It was ridiculous. Loads of different Disney shows. Like Recess had an episode. Kim Possible.
Mm-hmm. I knew the Kim Possible one.
We also had Jake the American Dragon is my favorite one of all time. I love that crossover. It's so much fun. Lilo tries to enter a skateboarding competition whilst the big bad actually kidnaps Jake thinking it's an experiment, which is brilliant. I love that because he is in his dragon form at the time. But yeah, it was just a fun time. We got introduced Angel, which Stitch March gets sold. Angel is pretty much sold just as much as Stitch March. And Angel's introduced in the...
She's considered Stitch's girlfriend.
Which is funny because Angel's actually a bad guy at first. Because Angel's ability is to sing, and whenever she sings, it turns all the other experiments evil other than Stitch, because it doesn't affect the experiments made after her. So it doesn't affect Leroy, Stitch, and Ruben, which is a lazy alien experiment who likes sandwiches.
I thought Leroy was that one.
No, Leroy's an experiment that Jumbo made after Stitch. He's experiment 627.
Okay. Okay, so 4, huh?
Yep, number 4.
This is the one that blew Ty's mind because he didn't even know what it was until he looked it up, so that was fun for me. But it's called Silverhawks. It's very much similar to Thundercats, where it's a group of cybernetic human beings that are sent to a distant galaxy called Limbo because a mob boss has broken out of jail and is trying to take over the galaxy, and the only way that we can stop him is with the Silverhawks. They're partly metal, partly real, which is in their theme song. And it was just a good overall story of, justice fighting against evil. Had some really cool characters. We had one that was actually an alien called the Copper Kid. He didn't actually talk. He beeped and booped. But, the Silverhawks understood him. There was they had like a pet mascot, which was a hawk, known as Tally Hawk. It was just one of those comfort shows just to watch and enjoy the story and the adventure of these humans being put up against these aliens and kicking some ass.
Oh wow, a TV show called Silverhawks, and they have a pet hawk, Big Shock. Yeah, I had no idea what this was when you said it. I did have to Google it. I was like, what the fuck is that? And looking at it, a couple of images, it screams you. Like, it literally, I looked at that and went, yeah, that's a show Willie would watch, definitely.
Yep.
that is definitely a show. But yeah, it sounds really cool. I'm actually tempted to try and see if I can watch a couple episodes. At least give it a try. Definitely sounds like my cup of tea.
Yeah, Xander. I ended up getting Xander into it, and he loves it.
But yeah, Silverhawk sounds cool. And no, that was just a random name to me. I honestly thought you made up something. Honestly, I thought you did. Insane.
You were like, oh wow, he's making cartoons up now, huh?
No, I was gonna mention you back, going, dude, I told you to think of 5 cartoons, not make up cartoons. Okay, so number 4 for me. I would have put my number 5th spot here, but just because of how unique and interesting and different number 4 is, that's why number 4's at number 4, and that's Magi Nation. Once you get to know me, one thing you'll learn real quick is when it comes to like cartoons and animes and things, I love my Monster Tamer stuff. So Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, that sort of thing. Especially if the monsters themselves have like a bond or a connection with said characters. And so basically, Magi Nation is about a guy who has a necklace given to him. I want to say it's his grandfather or his father. It's one of them two. And he's running on a track, and literally the necklace teleports him, and he ends up in this magical world. And there's different races, different cultures, and he gets teamed up with a elf-like girl who can do magic, which is really cool. And then this underground dweller who uses like relics and talismans and things. But the thing about Magi Nation is the summons. So they have these little crystals, and they'll call out "I imagine," as in like I imagine something. And they can summon creatures. They're all unique and different. The main 3 characters do have their own unique ones. More or less, most of the main characters have a unique one. And then they battle the bad guys. They help people and things, but there's only 2 seasons, which was sad, but they do go around and explore this whole new place. Like, there's different factions and different settings, different environments, and literally in season 1 they travel through the whole place, and then in season 2 they've got to do it again. So you get to see a lot of different locations and different types of people and things. There's I think season 2 is the season where each location you learn that has a big guardian of some kind, and they have to help them out, and that they're involved in things. There's lots of lore in the background. Sadly, we now live in a world where if something doesn't make money off of merchandise, it doesn't continue that well. And Magi Nation was meant to be a card game. The card game didn't sell, so Magi Nation, the cartoon, didn't go anywhere, which is a shame, because I feel like they could have done a lot more with it. It would have been really cool to have maybe a kind of like a Digimon Adventure 0.2 type deal, where it's a new character thrown into the world or something. But yeah, Magi Nation's really cool.
It is. I had to actually look it up the first time we talked about this to get my mind wrapped around which one it was again. But as soon as I saw the images, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember it.
Yeah, Magi Nation is just a lot of fun. I like it. But yeah, Imagination got put fourth over the fifth spot because how unique it is. It's very different to the other ones. So that's why it's in my fourth spot.
All right, on to number 5. Now, this is not saying it's our least favorite cartoon. It's just basically our like comfort cartoon, something we can turn on and not really have to pay attention to or whatnot. And that for me has always been Scooby-Doo. My mom is a huge Scooby-Doo fan. She used to sit me down and watch it with her. I love the older 80s cartoon Scooby-Doo because Scooby-Doo has had a shit ton of remakes. But like the old Scooby-Doo, the Guess Who Scooby-Doo, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, those were all good to me. And those are just like, I can put those on and just chill.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo's great. That's what I meant by, like, I know what your fifth one is, and, like, I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo because my sister was in the Scooby-Doo, my younger brother was in the Scooby-Doo. And yeah, Scooby-Doo, I was born in the 90s, the late 90s, might I add, and just in my lifetime, I've seen so many variations of Scooby-Doo, so many different ones, and it's a bit redonkulous, how many Scooby, but I think Scooby-Doo is a comfort for a lot of people, because it's almost innocent, it's just like a dog and his friends going around stopping the bad guys. There's no, like, daunting superheroes or costumes or like for the good guys I meant there's no like superpowers or anything. It's just some people doing the good thing. It's a lot of fun. Scooby-Doo's funny and wacky. It's just a good time, and like you said, it's just something you can put on and enjoy. So
definitely something you just put on and chill with, and you don't have to think about it too hard. All right, so number 5 for you, my good soul.
Number 5 for me is Bakugan. The original Bakugan, not the flipping reboot. I hate the reboot of Bakugan so much. So again, it's a Monster Tamer series, and I just adore the storyline behind Bakugan. So basically, we have a dimension called Vestroya with a V, and we have a Bakugan called Naga. It's a white dragon who looks a bit withered and beaten. And he has this grand idea to fly into the center, because in the center we have these two spheres, and I can never remember the actual terms, but it's like pure and dark, like, pure negativity, pure like positivity or something like that, and Naga wants to fly into them and absorb their power, but doing so he breaks Vestroya. Vestroya is made out of 6 elements, which is water, earth, fire, air, dark, and light, but they use the Latin names, so it's Pyrus, Aquus, Terra, Ventus, Darkus, and Chaos. So when that happens on our plane of existence on Earth, cards just start raining down from the sky. These weird looking cards, weird looking balls, and a group of kids make a game out of it. That's one thing I absolutely love. Is this isn't like fabricated? It's not made by a company. It's not ordinary life. A bunch of kids make a game out of it, and we're introduced to the Digestion. Wrong cartoon now. The Bakugan Battle Brawlers. And there are 7 of them. 6 of them play the game. Each one is represented by one of the elements, and the storyline kind of follows how the main character Dan, he's the leader of them. He's battling people. He kicks some ass, but then he gets a Bakugan that can talk. And that's when things get strange, is Bakugan don't talk, they don't move by themselves. And the ones who can talk actually open up in their ball form, and they can kind of move, but they can talk and everyone can hear them. And that's where things start getting strange and bizarre, and that's when they learn that the cards come from a different realm, and there's a human helping out Naga, and there's this like bad guy who gives certain players something called a shadow card. And basically, if they use the shadow card, if your Bakugan loses a fight, they get sucked up into a dark portal and they die. Think of like the Shadow Realm sort of thing from Yu-Gi-Oh! Very similar. The Masquerade is like a mistress character as well. You don't know who he is and things. But yeah, just the characters are fun. Storyline's great. Monster designs are phenomenal. Because they're pretty much gigantic. And also the PS2 game / PS3 game, depending on which console to get it for, is one of the best like cartoon tie-in games of all time, because you get to make your own character and you join the battle brawlers, and like they even made a specific Bakugan for the game that was never seen in the cartoon, so you even feel like you're part of like, you know, the experience and things. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, Bakugan's just great.
It wasn't one that I was a huge fan of. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I do know of it, and I know it. The merchandise on it. Heck, I even think McDonald's or Burger King got on the bandwagon, was giving out Bakugans and Happy Meals, if I remember correctly.
Funny enough, I actually still have my original Bakugan toys. Which I'm going to show off on my toy channel, but yeah, I have most of my original Bakugan toys, which is pretty nuts. But yeah, Bakugan's great. But there you go. That's our top 10 cartoons. This is one of the longest videos we've recorded, but hey ho. And there we have it, guys. Another video for you, and please let us know what you guys think of our top 10 favourite cartoons of all time. And let us know if you actually watched any of them. Are you intrigued? Did we get you interested in any of these cartoons you haven't seen? And of course, like we said in the beginning of the video, we applaud you to list your favourite cartoons in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget about that challenge that was thrown in earlier on. With that being said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and we shall see you guys real soon.